It's been a while since I've done a video with a big camera, so I got a project again today. Work on the Jeep, and I'm using a new camera, and I've dug out my wireless microphone, so hopefully audio quality will be better. We're not working back here, we're working out there, but when I turn the camera around, it's going to look like I'm in the witness protection program. So anyway, let me explain what I'm doing, and it's only when I'm backlit. So see, now I'm in the witness protection program, which, you know, might not be inappropriate considering that I'm about to modify my Jeep. Anyway, so, you know, what I'm going to do today is put a tow bar on here, and I want to talk a little bit about it before I do that. So if you don't want to hear the discussion, then feel free to skip ahead. I'm never going to be offended. I tend to make long videos. I'm going to try and keep this one shorter, but you know, it just is what it is. So I want to put a tow bar on my Jeep. When I bought that Jeep, it was to tow it behind the Crown Bus. The Crown Bus has moved on to somebody with bigger dreams and nimbler fingers than me, but I'm not done with my dream of dragging that Jeep around and going 4x4ing with it. So anyway, I started to buy the Harbor Freight one, but when I went into the Harbor Freight off Telephone Road in Houston, a lady said to me, "Oh, we keep it in the back." "Oh, okay, well, I want to look at it." "Oh, well, you can't do that. You have to buy it." Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, Harbor Freight. I didn't buy it. In fact, I went back and I realized the cheap asses don't even include the safety chains with it. And I said, you know what? Fuck this. So I went on Amazon. And by the way, this video may contain adult language, not suitable for minors or those with sensitive ears. You know, please dial 1-800-GIVE-A-SHIT. Alright, so I went online and I was going to go on Amazon, and the Vevor has basically what looks like the same thing for less money. And it includes a couple chains. But you know, Vevor, it's metal, it might be magnetic, I just don't trust that to drag my Jeep around. And so when I got to looking, I realized that I could buy a Kurt 5,000-pound tow bar. And Kurt is an American company. This is, let's see, bet you this is Hexo in Mexico. Let me see if it says where it's made. Made somewhere where we don't pay our people very well, so bet what it says. We got it on the back. Made in China. Yeah, like I said, made somewhere where we don't pay our people very well. But you know what the difference between Vevor and Kurt is at least Kurt's an American company. Vevor, you know, that's China flea market, and there's places where that's appropriate, and there's places where it's not, and I just didn't feel like it was appropriate there, so I bought this from Kurt, and this is what I'm going to put in. So, with that to it, the first thing I got to do is take the bumper off the Jeep. I'm going to do time-lapse for that, so that this does not turn into a 2-hour video, even though it's probably a 2-hour project. Anyway, let me get out there. Alright, so I've got my Bauer disposable impact wrench. Used a small battery. I have 3/4. I got rid of my T19 bolts. It's not really a big deal. So there's 1 bolt here, 2 bolts here. I forget who made these hooks. They came from Amazon too. I'm missing a bolt. That's something I'll have to deal with. That's a different project. And my goal is to remove these because this is where the mounts are going to go. That seems to be the popular thing. So anyway, let me switch it over to GoPro with time-lapse. There won't be any audio, and I'll be back at the next step. Now, if you're following along at home and you haven't gotten bored with me yet, these are 13mm nut on the back of this. That's probably stock. So again, and I have a whole bunch of DeWalt tools. I've sold most of them. I just got irritated with buying $100 batteries and decided that for what I was doing, this Bauer and Hercules stuff from Harbor Freight would do the job. And it's actually held up really well. I use it professionally. And then this is just my garage crap. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, so part of the maintenance plan for this Jeep is that I use flat black, lattice cam flat black, and it makes it really easy to touch up any little imperfections. I know, the whole Jeep's an imperfection, but I like it anyway, so leave me alone. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna get some fresh caffeine, and then I'll be back. Okay, so while that dries, I want to point out something that really ought to be obvious, but it's probably not obvious, so I'm going to point it out anyway. You know, you may be tempted to say, hey, wait, there's only 3 bolts on each side that hold the bumper to the Jeep, and there's only 2 bolts that hold the tow bar. And you would be right. And there's 1 cheap pin on each side that holds the tow bar. And that's why you have safety cables, because you're trusting the whole thing to that. And it seems to work. So anyway, I'm going to get the gauge on this so I can figure out what drill bit size to use. Back in a minute. Hey, watch out! Yeah, so using this is a 1/2-inch gauge. If you don't have one of these are really handy to have, even if you do have a fat butt and you knock stuff on the floor. Oops. I'll put links in the video description to the things I'm using that you might find useful, including that tow bar, the safety cables I picked, this gauge, and some other stuff. Alright, so I sat there drilling with a hand drill and I thought, what am I doing? I'm in a Bridgeport. Let's spend 30 minutes setting up the bumper in the Bridgeport, and then we can drill 4 holes in 2 minutes. So here we are. Alright, it's been a minute since I've run this. Yeah, okay, more than a minute. But it should be okay. Alright. I think that's the right way. Nope, that is. You thought I was kidding when I said let's spend 30 seconds drilling these holes. It's a Bridgeport. Now I have a rotary phase converter. That's a whole other project. So let's see what the offset is. It's wrong, whatever it is. Close enough. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. So my friends always ask me, why do you own all these machine tools? And I'm like, I don't know, but when I need one, I'll know it. Here's a perfect example. That looks pretty good. Or not. So I'm not running production here. I don't have 400 of these to do, so I take light cuts, use a lubricant. Alright. I need something to scoop that trash into. All those are metal splinters looking for a victim. Alright, so next thing I want to do is just check and see, did I get it? Yeah, good enough for this work. So this bumper hangs out more on the top than the bottom, so I've got another little piece of crap there to help support it. And then I'm just going to squeeze it really hard. Probably better ways to do this, but that'll work for what I'm doing. So I do have power feeds on my machine. Up and down is really the only one I use. Call it what you want. Good enough? All right. So I didn't touch my in and out, so I'm not, I think my hole's a little further in, but if I don't touch my in and out axis, then I'm good. Let's just make sure. I know y'all machinists are probably cringing at my work style, but it is what it is. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bolt these to the bumper, and I'm going to use time-lapse video for that because I just don't think there's that much that's very exciting about this, and I don't want to waste video minutes. So let's do it to it. So I want to take a second to explain what I'm actually doing here. So the hardware that came with these is really sketchy and doesn't seem to want to thread properly. And so I'm removing it and replacing it with hardware that I have. It's 1/2" 13, but I'm replacing it stuff with Bolt Depot that is actually graded. I just don't trust this Chinese junk. I actually think they gave metric nuts with standard bolts, or vice versa. Whatever it is, they're not threading cleanly, so I'm going to discard them because they're unknown and untrustworthy, and this is a safety application. And yeah, hopefully I'm not going to have any issues. But I should at least have been able to get these started, and with the bolts that came with it, I couldn't even get them started. And then I'm going to back them up with a second nut. So, anyway, let me do this. All right, so why am I stuck? I think it needs some encouragement. So I think that the vise might have pinched the bumper, which is not the end of the world. It just makes it tighter than it was. I just don't see what it's hung up on. All right. So, every good deed goes punished. The bolt here is lining up with the tube inside the frame rail, so it's got to get moved. That sucks. So the only redeeming detail here is that I have air conditioning inside my garage, so I'm not out in the heat doing this. But boy, that sucks. I had to take all this apart. Oh well. Time lapse. Alright, maybe the second time will be the charm. I'm not convinced that's in focus, but maybe it will be. I'm going to go fire up the phase converter. Alright, I'm going to time-lapse the rest of it. Alright, so one of my observations is the bolts stick through too much, so I'm going to turn them around. That's really the only change I gotta make. And now I gotta remember which of these Swiss cheese holes gets it. I would feel really better about putting a plate back here, but I think it'll be okay. I'll just watch it. Alright, so let's see where we're at here. Let me back the lens up. There we go. So we're trying to set it again. The bolt was hitting this inside the frame, so, you know, maybe we fixed it. Maybe we found a new problem. It's a Jeep. I'm going to put on some heavy-duty gloves for this part because I don't feel like getting crap all over my hands yet again. All right, there we go. So this end of the bumper is pinched, and it's not a surprise for this vehicle. So it looks really weird having it reversed, but I think it's okay. I really do. So I'm using some Eskalonke, I think that's how it says, Eskalonke thread locker, similar to Loctite, but a whole heck of a lot cheaper, like $10 for this, I don't know, 2-ounce bottle. It's like $100 worth of Loctite if you buy the Henkel stuff, which I don't. So, blue means you'll be able to get it off maybe. Red means don't think about it. There are different colors. Those are just two. Always start it by hand. You'll regret it if you don't. I don't even know why I'm putting this one back on. Because, yeah, that one's going to be a problem. There's another one under there. So I think there's one more. There it is. trust any of these.
All right. So I don't, this is the side that I don't trust the most. It'll probably be okay. So now we're just gonna put things together. All right, that looks good. This is going to be a little tight. This can be a lot tight. So, you can either shorten the bolt or reverse it. I'm going to try reversing it first. Yeah, if you thought this was going to be easy, sorry, that's not what's showing here. that answers that question. Where'd the other one go? Shiz makes this really particular to put in, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because that means it's really particular to get out. And that means it's very difficult to get out. And that's actually what we want. And I am intentionally putting these in with the nuts up because it makes it very easy to visually inspect these and make sure that they haven't moved. And just like the other ones, these just don't want to thread on. I really wonder if they didn't make a mistake here, because this should do more than half a thread. That's wrong. Fortunately, I have some heavy-duty known hardware, so I'm going to bring it out. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with something here, because their nut should have threaded on like that. It should have at least started. All right, we'll just pause that. Now, before my armchair mechanics get to me, you don't need thread lock with nylon nuts. However, it isn't going to hurt anything, so I'm adding it. Suspect I'm about to enter the aggravation zone. All right. I'm impressed. All right, guys, so that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry it took forever. Hopefully this is useful to somebody who needs to hook their Jeep up. And I do recommend the product. I think it's well done, other than the bolts being a little janky. But China. Well, I guess I can film you guys. I guess I can let you guys see what's involved in getting this off. I think these are going to be different kind of pins. Because I don't quite have the clearance. Well, yeah, we're going to have clearance issues here. Yeah, that's just not going to work. That one's going to have to be cut. Yeah, it's not quite the way I wanted this to go. Not going to be cut with that. Yeah, unfortunately, this is in here really tight, and that's on purpose. But I'm going to have to get different pins. All right, that's it.